Hello, dear humanity. Welcome to Season 3 of Human Thesaurus. I'm your host slash Zippy, Wishrongkio Peacock. Human Thesaurus is about our mortal language, where the words we use and say are deeply attached to our sense of self and humanity. In this podcast, I fuse words with my guests and how they uniquely represent their several meanings. It's like catching up with them in a cafe or over cocktails, and here you are, eavesdropping on our conversations while we explore what words define who they authentically are. And this season, I'll throw in special episodes with deep dive human elements, so watch out for this exciting expansion of my pod. Subscribe now. Episodes are released weekly. Each season contains 8 episodes and perhaps some bonuses along the way. Asela is a poetry editor at Variety Pack magazine and has previously worked with presses and magazines, including Sampaguita Press, Maria's at Sampaguitas, Timberline Review, and Copper Canyon Press. She also has published works in SOU Student Press, Flawless Mag The Border Issue, Silk Club Quiet, Reclamation Mag, and the anthology No Tender Fences. Asela uses her passion for creative writing to open conversations on diversity and identity in literature. She currently resides in Oregon, USA with her family. We're in completely different worlds right now. She's the night and I'm the day at the moment. And also you can find Asela on Twitter at Asela Lee K and Instagram at the Sakura Inc. I'll provide all her links in the humanthesaurus.co show notes page, so please check that out. I met Asela through Twitter, I think 2020? Yes, during the pandemic. I remember she was looking for BIPOC contributors, even though I'm not Asian American. It piqued my interest from my poetry stint. So we started talking and she's so friendly and I felt like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. She replied. That's cool. She included me to be a contributor to Chopsticks Ali Pinoy. It's a platform in the States empowering Southeast Asians to connect them to their culture's roots. It didn't really fully work out for all of us because the direction changed, I think. But I still follow Asela on her social media because she's inspiring to me. Of course, with her signature awesome hairstyle that I really, really love for her and her love for K-pop, which really is completely different from my taste. But I love observing K-pop fans. I think they're one of the most fun people in the world. And also, she's got a lot of exciting upcoming projects and things. So, my synonyms for Asela are atmosphere as a noun, composing as a verb, and congenial as an adjective. Within this conversation, you'll further understand why I describe her as such. So, here she is, Asela Lee Kemper.
Thank you so much, Wish. Oh, thank you. You're so kind. Thank you so much for that amazing intro. Hi, listeners. My name is Asela. Same as the words Bella as a noun, dancing as a verb, and creative as an adjective. I like the word poetry, and I dislike the word nice, but not in the context you think.
Right. Okay, let's unpack that one first. Why? What's the context of nice that you dislike about? Because nice is a simple positive term, but please educate us.
Maybe not educate, but maybe this is from my perspective. But we all know the word or the definition of the word nice. It's mainly kind of like someone is kind or someone is friendly in terms of like talking about someone as a person. But when I'm speaking about like nice, I'm talking about like a context of, hey, you're being too nice. For
Right.
me, that kind of reads, I already know that means like you're telling me, hey, you're going to be easily walked all over. Someone's going to take advantage of you. I don't really care much
Mm-mm.
about when someone say you're being too nice in that context. It's because it's kind of, for me, when I hear that, I think, so should I stop caring about someone? Am I not doing it right? Or should I stop like being kind? I don't know what I'm doing. So when you're really, they're trying to say is, hey, you need to be careful. You're going to be gullible.
Right.
Someone's going to take advantage of you because of your kindness. I understand what they're saying. It's not that my kindness itself or me being friendly to others is a bad thing. But it's more so just, I wish someone would just tell me straightforward saying, hey, I think you need to be careful because we don't know if this person is just as nice as you are or just as kind or just playing a face, you know? So it's just like, I rather have someone saying, be careful. They're going to walk all over you if you act like this than, oh, you're being too nice. It's like you're dancing around the subject of like, hey, she's a very nice person. But I mean, I like to think I'm nice. I like to think I'm kind, but I like being honest and I like someone to be honest with me too. So that's why I'm like, weirded out by the word nice.
I get it now. I get it now. So it's along the context of how it's being used. If it's being used to dance around something that that someone really needed to say.
Yeah.
Instead of saying you're being nice, and because they're scared of they have the fear of getting someone offended.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, everybody is just afraid of getting canceled. They forget also how to be honest with the people that they care about. So it rubs someone the wrong way as well, right?
Yeah.
So instead of saying push over or gullible, they choose you're being too nice. So it makes that thing the opposite of what it should really mean.
Right.
So it's hard to, right? It's harder to decipher if you use it that way, like interesting, that word interesting.
Yeah.
So it has a different context for different industries. So what I've learned really watching a lot of Top Chef, I think what season are they now? 22 or something? I can't keep up anymore.
They're on their All-Stars right now. They're on their global All-Stars right now.
All right. Oh, I haven't even finished season 19.
Oh, season 19 was a trip.
Oh my goodness. I'm only on like episode 4 or something. So please don't tell me anything yet.
I won't.
But before I could get, so they use the word interesting in culinary world when they say interesting, when you offer a new food or a new creation. And then when the chef says interesting, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. The concept itself, it doesn't mean that it's delicious. So it's kind of bordering on that. So in your context, you dislike nice because of the context itself of how it's being used. So that's why I love this podcast concept that I about human thesaurus, because it's all about the context per individual human being on how they reference words.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So speaking of all of these things, what have you been doing at the moment? You've been very busy. I mean, your intro, it's like, oh my gosh, so many different things. So what's going on?
Yeah, I mean,
catch me up on everything.
Of course, yeah. It's been a long time, about like 3 years now since we've interacted with each other, right? It's been 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's been a long time. I mean,
that's crazy.
Right? I mean, right now I'm going to be releasing a micro chapbook in a form of a CD and a cassette from Gashing Teeth Publishing. Yeah, it's the first time for them to release something like this. So it's very interesting. I'll be recording audio tracks for this micro chapbook, and it's going to include like a little booklet with all the poems I included, but it's going to be released in a form of a CD and a cassette. And I'm really excited because it's like my micro chapbook that I'm using it as a way to reintroduce myself as a poet, because as you already read in the intro, I've done a lot of things, but during my time as like an editor or like a reader or just doing a lot of like different projects with almost a lot of literary magazines, I have a feeling that like a lot of people within a community are slowly forgetting that I'm a poet before I was an editor or like a K-pop fan. So I wanted to use this as a way, like almost like a prologue to a full collection poetry manuscript that I'm working on right now. And I want to use my micro chapbook as a way to just reintroduce myself and show that I've written some pretty cool poems over the last years. And yeah, that's one thing I've been working on. And we're hoping to have this published this year. My publisher and I were eyeing it on in the summer. So hopefully by then I get to more information's come out and I can tell folks to get the micro chapbook because I'm really excited about this project. And again, like I said, I want to use this as like almost like a prologue to my full collection manuscript that I'm working on right now, as well as me recording those audio tracks for my micro chapbook. Of course, I'm part of the conference faculty for Willamette Writers Conference, which is the conference going to start in August. So keep an eye out for Willamette Writers Conference just to get more updates. And you might see me pop up here and there. Maybe you might see me moderating a panel about poetry. So that's what I'm excited about. And I'm going to be part of the virtual side because the conference is going to be hybrid. So it's going to be both in person and virtual. So I'll be in virtual. So you might see me in that space. Yeah. And also I'm working on a podcast with my good friend and fellow writer, Katrina M. We're doing a podcast called Two in Sync. We are recording our season 2 right now. And we got some pretty cool episodes that's going to come out soon. So keep your eyes and ears for that.
That's awesome. So probably we can do a trailer here so we can have a little crossover.
Yeah.
I think, the podcast, the indie podcast community grows because of all of these crossovers.
Yeah.
This is how we grow. When I started this, it's never about monetization or anything monetary. It's really highlighting. I love the concept. So I love really just like bringing people in, highlighting them.
Yeah.
What are you made of? What you see yourself as, how I see yourself, and all of these things. And really at the end of it, everybody would just think, oh yeah, that's what it's all about. And really like merging humans to literary pieces as literary pieces.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So about your podcast, what's coming up in this season 2?
Yeah. So last year we did our season 1. We kind of played around with like different guests. We invited writers like Butch Schwarzkopf, who made his debut with Pogrom Cannot Climb Trees, for our special beach episode, which was kind of this fun filler episode that we were inspired by anime. We had friends who we had this conversation with our friends, and they were saying like, oh, you should do like a beach episode, like a filter, like how anime does. And I'm like, me and Katrina were like, oh my gosh, we should totally do it. So we did that. And we also invited folks from Sapikita Press, as well as Maria Bolianos, to talk about their debut chapbook, Sana, as well as talking more about Sapikita Press, along with Dina Clarice. We also talked about like what it's like to be Asian Americans, especially in a literary space. We also talked about like different pop culture stuff like Drag Race. Me and Katrina, we love RuPaul's Drag Race. So we had an episode dedicated to that, as well as like, what would be like if Drag Race was set in Korea? What would that look like? We have a fantasy about that. So for this season, we're going to probably do something similar to that, but hopefully with some more poems, more pop culture stuff, and just being fucking Asian.
So what is it like to be a fucking Asian?
It has its ups and downs. I mean,
it does.
It really does. I mean, you have this different diaspora we're living in, because like growing up when I was trying to figure out myself, is that I'm pretty proud of my heritage because I'm half Korean, half Chinese. But
Yeah.
my mom's family, who's like my mom's Korean, but she was born and raised in Japan. So it's just
Oh.
different pieces. But I'm pretty proud of my heritage. I'm pretty proud of me being Asian American. So, but I know there's some people who have like a really difficult time with that, surrounding that. Like, what is being Asian? What is like being fucking Asian? You know, because it's weird. It's a weird space. It's even I'm still trying to navigate it. And I have written like identity poems in the past, and even most of them are kind of at the center of the micro chapbook here for Finally the Mixtape. That's just the title of it, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. And because
wow, okay.
Thank you. Yeah. But
this is the pre-launch.
Yeah. it's out there. But anyways, but being Asian is just a never ending like discovery, you know, just kind of navigating what that's being like. And because there's just so many different backgrounds, like there's East Asians, there's South Asians, Southeast Asians, and it's just so many backgrounds that needs to be cherished and uplift their voices. And it's just never ending. And sometimes there's some people who just have a difficulty kind of being associated with that or just like embracing it because of whatever upbringings or whatever background they came from. And that's completely understandable because sometimes I had that really weird moment and that too back in college. But at the same time, it's just like learning how to be my authentic self and not having to like put up a front. You know what I mean? Like trying to create this view of what people think of when they hear Asian, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I yes, that's a lot to unpack, but this is what I also appreciate about you representing about this diversity and identity in literature. And then I love the literary groups that you're around at. So what is your personal goal when it comes to this fucking Asian identity part in literature? Like what's your personal goal? Why are you in this space? And what do you want to imbibe in the community?
Keep showing up for Asian American literature. Just keep continuing doing it. Yeah. And just literally like any background, just like not just Asian American, but also like any like Asian diaspora literature. Just keep uplifting that, because I know when I was a kid, like for me, I thought Asian stories only exist as like ancient China or anime. Those are like my only two things. I thought that's the only thing that exists, or a stereotype. But it wasn't until I picked up a book by Cynthia Konohara called Kira Kira. So it's basically from her perspective of this young girl where her Japanese American family moved from a big city to a small town. And it just goes into this story of what it's like to navigate this small town family and mental health. It's a very unique story that's like aimed towards like more middle schoolers or just YA audience. And that was a stamp for me that made me realize that there are stories like that through an Asian American lens. And then when I got older and when I got into poetry, I got to discover poets, which for me, I considered my writing heroes, like Denise Frohman, Dominique Christine Andrea Hughes, who's a personal friend of mine, even though she doesn't identify herself as a writer anymore. But to me, like her writings that she have written during my undergrad, when we were attending the same university, that's what inspired me. And I still include her in that space for me. And of course, Fanny Choi, who I'm so honored to have finally met, the poet.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And because I remember watching their videos on Button Poetry. And I remember when I was in my community college, watching those videos, it made me realize that if they can do it, so can I. And I want to continue.
Absolutely.
Right. And I want to continue uplifting that and continue using my voice and my writing to uplift those spaces and give those spaces and voices for those, like, for the people who really deserve it. You know what I mean? So it's just like continue uplifting that Asian American, Asian diaspora, international Asian writers all around, just making sure, given that voice, given that platform, and of course, uplift Black, Indigenous, Brown, Latinx, POC writers and queer writers as well. Just keep continuing that work that I'm doing right now, and hopefully that would like venture into more too soon.
Yes, absolutely. But have we ever improved these, at least these past 20 years, 15, 20, 10 years at all when it comes to recognizing or representing different diasporas in this world? What do you think about that? What's your observation so far?
I think it has gotten a little bit better. I'd say a little, I say by a hair. It's a slow baby steps for me, because I think there's still times where I notice, and I don't know if this is the same for your end, but I noticed that at least on the American side, at the States, that Asian Americans, at least the East Asian Americans, are the most like, get the most covered when it comes to like, it doesn't have to be just, it's not just books, it's also like movies and music. There's always been like more of the forefront of like East Asian Americans, when in reality, being Asian is not just like you're from Korea or from China or Japan. It's more than that. Yes. It's like somebody from Thailand or somebody from Vietnam, the Philippines, or even just like India. It's more than what we saw like East Asians. It's not that to say like East Asians are like shouldn't be uplifted. Like they should still be uplifted, because I'm East Asian. I'm East Asian. I'm saying this. Yes, but I want to. But if we're gonna include East Asians, we have to include every Asian background. You know what I mean? It's not just like one singular thing. That also includes Pacific Islanders, because I also noticed that Asian Americans or even just Asian diaspora in general have continuously left out Pacific Islander in conversations. I have made that mistake too, and I own up to that. And just like being able to bring into that space, introduce like different books by Pacific Islanders, and getting to know like amazing like Pacific Islanders. If we want to include AAPI, we have to include Pacific Islanders into the conversations, not just like one person who happens to be Pacific Islander or someone who is like Indigenous. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I want to be able to utilize that space and also to learn and grow from it. So, because I like I said, I made those mistakes too, and especially in the past, and I'm probably make those same mistakes again in the future. I'm not jinxing that. I knocked on wood. I'm not going to jinx that.
No, but that's part of growth, right?
Yeah.
I think that's part of continuous education and knowledge and growth in people. We can't be perfect. So the major factor or determining factor in all of these is owning up to it, right?
Yeah.
Educating yourself and owning up to it. Like what you're doing. It's just being a responsible human being. So that's hard at the moment. Everybody's just jumping into the bandwagon to cancel someone, and without knowing the background. Say some people just really didn't know anything better. And if they listen and change it and take accountability for it, then fine, right?
Right. And it's just
because really
it just takes time, really. And I think it's also just it's really up to the individual person if they want to make that change, because because we talk sometimes about like cancel culture, right? Because cancel culture doesn't exist. I will say just like standpoint, it doesn't exist, because there's too many people who we claim that are canceled, air quoting canceled, but they're immediately come back into it again because for whatever reason. It could just be because of privilege or because of like their status or whatever that reason may be. But it's really ultimately, how does that individual learn? Because we can say like, oh, if we give them time and space and educate, if they get educated, yes, let them have that time to grow and learn and educate it. But if that same particular person don't do that growth, are not doing that education, just continuing what they're doing, then it's a matter of for time to kind of say, okay, this person didn't do anything. It's time we have to let them go. We can't keep supporting this person any longer. It's up for them to decide if they want to learn. But if they show that they don't want to learn, they obviously do not want to learn at all based on their actions, then it's for us as an audience to decide, should we keep supporting this person? No matter how many chances or time we keep giving them, we need to let us individually decide, should we keep supporting this person? They said it once that they'll learn, but then like 2, 3, 5, numerous times, even worse. They've probably done worse, you know?
Yeah.
Then that's when we had to kind of step back and think, when should we stop supporting? When should we say, we can't help you anymore? Or I can't do this anymore, you know? And this is the same for me too. And that's not to say that no one is escaped from criticism. No one's escaped from like making mistakes, as you said. So it's just learning about, it's also my responsibility to think, how do I navigate the space, but also should I learn how to educate myself? And that's why I like to kind of sit and observe my surroundings, but also just like being able to kind of try to like listen to what other people are saying and just digest it and listen. And if I have any questions, I mainly ask, but I try not to use it as taking advantage of it in that space, because there are people who are giving their time to let you learn about why you made this mistake, why this is quote unquote problematic, or why this is valued for, let's say, a culture or a person. So it's just acknowledging that they took this time, for people to take the time to, lack of a better term, educate you, but also like taking the time to really help you help you understand why this is valued and important, why it's can't be hurtful for an individual or a community. So it's basically basic human understanding. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's right. But I picked up like there's a wisdom gained there that applies to a lot of things in humanity, which is when to know when to let someone go.
Yeah.
That's gracefulness.
Yeah.
When it comes to humans, when you learn that. And that's a very, very big thing in different communities. You can only do so much as an individual or as a group.
Right.
When it comes to educating, when it comes to making someone aware about something. It's a big wisdom. Not everybody can do that.
Yeah. And patience.
That's part of the... Yes, that's right. So that's another thing, right? So, I mean, thank you for all of these, because I feel like your messages that I see on social media is quite diverse, in terms of your interests. And for me, I feel at the moment, a little bit sheltered in a small country, and I'm not working and traveling as much as I was, that I love seeing other people's view of the world in so many different ways. And I could see that yours is very complex because you have a lot of interests. But I always wonder, like, how do you do your time management? Because you said you're writing, you're recording your micro chapbook, and then you're also editing for different literary groups. And you have other interests like your podcast and many other things, I'm sure, behind the scenes. So how do you manage all of that all together?
Yeah, I mean, I think I wish I could tell you that. I really wish I think I'm learning myself, because right now I think that's my two main goals are like time management, but also learning how to live the life I wanted to, because especially in the summer, I'm going to start going to grad school real soon. So it's just now I have to like learn how to time management, like give me some time for writing, but also like give time to like, if I need to apply for scholarships or jobs, like if I need like a new day job or whatnot, but also if I have a day job, I give time for that, but also give time for my family, because I live with my folks, and just give some time with them and spending time with them if they need any support from me, or if I need support from them, just trying to learn about time management and space for that. And I know I'm not doing the best job of it, but I'm hoping for those two goals, I can utilize that, especially when I start grad school real soon. So I'm still learning too. Still learning the process of time management. So it's a process. It's slow, really slow, but it's getting there.
I see. Well, I appreciate all your efforts. I could see that. And, what I've learned about time management for a while now is that as you evolve as a person, your time would also evolve with you.
Mm.
So it's how you handle routine before may change over time. So it's a never ending task, but it's always an exciting task. So I always believe the time grows with you.
Mm.
So, and humans are resilient. We're resilient beings. So we can always, I think the awareness, like for example, you have a goal. So goal versus the time, when you find a common ground there, I think it's just good. And we can't be perfect when it comes to these things, but that's part of the evolution of
Yeah.
you, who you are as a person. That's what I've gathered. I mean, in my own life too. But wait, you said grad school as an afterthought, but it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Tell me about this one.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you. I was, it was funny because Katrina and I, we recorded our first episode for season 2, and I did the same thing.
Yeah.
And she even said, Asela, you just made a bombshell. You just said you're going to grad school. Why you didn't say anything? I'm like, oh yeah, because I said it in the most subtle way possible. I didn't realize it either. It's like those comedy skits or sometimes like TV shows where they say like, oh, blah, 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 whatever. By the way, I'm doing this, and then leave. Which is funny.
Yeah. So what is the grad school about?
Yeah. So the grad school I'll be attending in the summer is called Pacific Northwest College of Arts. So I'll be studying under their little residency program, which is, I don't know if this is applied to where you are, but I know in America, when it comes to like little residency for like creative writing or like sometimes visual arts programs for graduate schools, usually when they say low residency is when you go to campus for a certain amount of days or a week. You spend time there, get to know some people in the program and the mentors or the teachers there, and then you fly back to your home and just like do most of your studying there until you like come back again to do it all over again. But mainly for mine, what's interesting about PNCA is that I have the choice to study fully remotely. So the only time I get to go to campus is graduation. If I'm able to graduate. If I'm able to graduate.
Yes, you will. You're always determined.
I hope so. Because I saw the financial aid and I just saw like how much it'll cost. And I'm like, oh God, I hope I do. I hope.
We have to look for a good benefactor for you.
Yes. I mean, I'm applying for fellowships and scholarships right now and trying to like gather as much and try to apply as much as I can. And just hopefully be able to win any scholarship and fellowship so I can pay for it, because I saw the loans and it's so much. I did apply for this scholarship while I was applying for PNCA. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. And it's sad, but like I'm trying to apply for as much as fellowships, grants, and scholarships as much as I can, because I'm trying to avoid paying for loans as much as I can.
How long is this grad school going to be for you?
About 2 years. So it's going from like 2023, 2024.
So is this focused on being a poet or something else?
Yeah. So it's basically like poetry. So what I'm aiming to do for 2 things while I'm studying there is just honing and focusing on my manuscript, the full collection. I already have a title for my full collection manuscript, but I want to make sure I have, and also I have the theme for it, but I want to make sure it's refined and make sure that it's there and ready, like the poems and what the direction was going for this collection. And also that I wanted to use that time to practice becoming like a poetry instructor. And that's what I like, because it would be nice to do so. And fingers crossed those will happen, because I want to be able to get a master. So then whenever I apply for like universities, if they're especially if they're looking for like poetry instructors, I'm the
Mm.
person for that. So it's just like they can't say no to me because I have a master's.
Yes. Yes, wonderful. I love this.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, just to dig deeper, when did you realize that you're going towards this literary path?
Ooh, it started in community college, but I started
Mm.
writing lyrics, like song lyrics, when I was
Yeah?
in middle school. Because in middle school, I
Oh.
was so fascinated by like songwriters or like artists that I love, like Michael Jackson, Olivia Newton-John, or the Bee Gees.
Mm.
I remember I
Yes.
begged my mom to like print out those lyrics in case like the CD doesn't have any like lyrics in
Oh.
the lyric book. So I would ask my
Yeah.
mom to like print them out. That's we found a website, and I would just like I still have some of the songs. I would like highlight which ones, saying like this is my favorite, or this is my second favorite, or this is my favorite. And I'm always
Oh.
so fascinated by it. And at first, I want to be like a lyricist, kind of like what Broadway
Mm.
or like movie producers have. But then I Googled
Yes.
what it's like working as a lyricist, and I was like, I had to, let's just say I have to rethink how I'm going to approach it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I went to community college, when I moved up to Oregon, is when I took like an introduction to poetry class. And I wanted to
Mm.
take it because it kind of is similar to writing lyrics. So I thought, okay, maybe I can try
Mhm.
this. So I don't remember what poem I wrote, but I remember I wrote it out of sheer scaredness that they'll probably say, hey, maybe this is not for you, But then when I read my poem in
Right.
class, they were pretty excited. They had a lot of good things to say about my poem, and I was shocked. I was really shocked. And then that led me to Denise Frohman, who is like one of my favorite poets ever, and also my
Mm.
my writing heroes. And it was like the Dear Straight People poem. And then it also led me to Dominique
Mm.
Christina, and then eventually led me to Franny Choi, who I had the honor to meet in person. By the way, I
Wow.
met Denise and Dominique in person, so that's like pretty cemented. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
and Franny Choi, I got to meet recently at AWP Seattle. For me, when I saw Franny Choi, the first time I saw Franny Choi was watching their videos on Bun Poetry. And I remember watching
Yeah?
those videos. Yeah. And I remember watching those videos. That's where I knew I wanted to continue poetry. I wanted to continue writing. And I don't know how. At the time, I didn't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to like
Mm.
become this working professional, being paid poet. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Mhm.
I'm going to do it no matter what. And
Yes.
yeah, and I want to continue doing that. So that's how it all started. It's what started as a hobby eventually became a thing I wanted to do for the rest of my life.
Wow, I love that. That's such an inspiration to aspiring writers. I think it's
Thanks.
just all about just doing it, right?
Yeah.
Just do start somewhere, just write and start
Yeah.
somewhere. Yes. So coming from this, I always feel that you are always representing, and I love what you represent as well. So,
Mm.
what do you envision? What are your goals for this literary path that you have in
Mm.
writing, and most especially in poetry communities that you serve?
Yeah. I'm hoping to be, like I said, after hopefully I graduate when I pay off not having to take too much loans, hopefully to be a poetry instructor and just be able to teach poetry to students, especially like younger audience, and just be able to allow them to have a voice in space, and just, well, not just young age,
Mhm.
but it's just like every age, all ages. And I want to be able to teach, like be a poetry instructor and continue uplifting BIPOC queer literature, Asian diaspora, Asian American literature, just could keep continuing that while being a poetry instructor. I want to continue being
Mhm.
a poetry editor, or like an editor for literary magazines, as long as I get paid.
Mhm.
Because
Of course.
besides my time at Variety Pack, shout outs to everyone at Variety Pack. We're doing great work. Besides Variety Pack, I've kind of, since last year, been burnt out from doing editorial stuff. I've been pretty burnt out. So I wanted to like kind of refocus how I want to, especially now that I have a microchapbook coming out and I'm working on a manuscript, a full collection manuscript. I wanted to re-navigate myself as a poet, as a writer, and just be and how I want to utilize that voice. And I actually enjoy doing becoming a poetry instructor because I was an instructor during my alum university's youth program. And we did it for the summer. I did it for a week. The students I worked with were amazing and made me love the work and made me want to continue doing the work. So it really motivated me to kind of continue that and just focus on my writing and be in that space for that. That's my goal. And I also have like a retirement plan. I also have like a retirement plan. I love
this.
Yeah, I have a...
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? This is so inspiring.
Yeah, you know, like a lot of people say like, do you have what's your long-term goal? Or like, what is your dream per se? Like, I'm already living my dream, and that is like being a poet, being a writer. Yes. At least for me. I mean, it could be bigger. I wanted to of course it'll be bigger. And that's always been that kind of dream. That's one of my long-term goals is like continue being a poet, continue being a writer. That my retirement plan is like, after all of this, whenever that time comes, after all of this, I want to open up my own bookstore. So yeah, I want to open up my own bookstore and just having that space where I have it all written down too. Just have it like, but the shortness of being kind of like what Kinokuniya bookstores, which is like one of my favorite bookstores ever. Just having be like a space for like, for being like so many awesome books, just like continuing uplifting local writers in the area, BIPOC, queer, and just having that drag queen reading hour. Also is like a space for poetry readings as well as open mic. And I was in a poetry slam club when I was in undergrad.
Yes.
And I want to have that space for them to read there and have that poetry reading, and just also having that space where people can listen to music. And if I want to make a bigger space, I also wanted to have it to be the space. It might not happen, but I always wanted to, but have like that space have that space where of college students be able to kind of stay for the night. Because when I was an undergrad, there has been a lot of issues and problems with houselessness or homelessness, or just like students do not have a place to stay, and sometimes they would go out like really late and studying for the library, and it gets stay out late and it's too late to walk home and it's dangerous to walk home. So I wanted to have like a space where it's kind of like a hostel, kind of similar to what Japanese or Korean bookstores have, like a little cafe where they have a little room. But I also want to have a room where it's like people can check out and check in, so they can stay if they need to study. They can stay in their room, sleep there. And I don't know the logistics, of course. I haven't worked out the logistics yet, but that's kind of my ideal, to have like a space for college students if they need a place to stay for not the whole year, but like at least for like some time for them to, especially if they need to study for finals. It's too late for them to go back home. It's too late to get them an Uber or something like that. Just having that room and that space so they can study and then sleep without having to worry that they have to walk home at night. That's what I hope for my retirement plan, is to open up that bookstore.
Oh my gosh, that has to happen. Don't give up on that one.
I won't.
I wish that exists everywhere, you know? Like, that's a very beautiful vision, Asela. It's just, wow.
Thank you.
I could even picture it in my head how it's going to look like.
Honestly, though, like, I just like to, I hope that happens. Like, of course, not now, because I have no funds and I'm kind of busy right now. My head's going on right now, but I hope.
And you said it's retirement plan.
Yeah, it's a retirement plan. that's when I hopefully, like, after all of this and finally once I got all of my shit together, then I can finally, then maybe this will be my retirement plan.
Oh, that's very inspirational. I could see that happening, and that's very marketable, and it's going to be very good to different college communities. Yeah. So yes, I support you on that part.
Thank you.
I hope your vision will come true. I know it will. You're very determined when it comes to these things.
Oh, thank you.
So Yes. So, in closing,
Mm,
what's the word that you can think of that you can impart to our listeners and why?
Like when you say in part, what do you mean by that?
After our conversation, what's the word that you can pick up
Oh,
that you can share to our listeners? And what does that word mean to you?
determination is that I feel
Mhm.
like that's the theme of this pot for our episode, because I feel like just hearing you and having that energy, just being able to work and improve and not lose hope or lose that vision of where I wanted to go, and just not losing that passion or why I'm here to begin with.
Mm, I love that. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with
Of
me. It's
course.
so nice catching up with you, Asela, and getting to know you better. This is a wonderful thing because all we do is email each other and see each other on social media. So this conversation really means a lot to me. So thank you so much for guesting. Really, really appreciate it. And good luck to your grad school and always stick to that retirement plan. It really, really sounds amazing.
Thank you. And thank you so much for inviting me. I had such a good time, and I'm so grateful to be able to have this space and talking with you and catching up with you. I'm so excited to just seeing season 3. Congratulations on season 3.
And your season 2.
Yay!
Woohoo! All good. Yes, hail indie podcasters.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm excited.
And also can't wait for your audio micro chapbook.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited. The poems I've written for the past 2 years. I'm very excited, and I will definitely announce it on my social media, and hopefully you'll like it too.
Oh, I can't wait. Trust me.
Thank you.
From this episode, one of the most important words about life is willpower. It is the strong determination that allows one to do something difficult. It's similar to words determination, commitment, dedication, tenacity, backbone, self-control, spine, and self-restraint. Juliana, the Venezuelan vixen Peña, the first woman to win the Ultimate Fighter, quoted, "Willpower, strength, and determination. It will take you places." End quote. Not everything goes according to plan. Plans always change and divert and diverge. It really depends, but life is just really like that. It always takes us by surprise, and we also discover new things. I think the biggest factor when it comes to moving forward is that willpower. Willpower to survive, willpower to succeed, willpower to endure everything that we're going through at some point in our lives. I think it's just important for us to have that willpower in our minds, in our hearts, and in our souls to keep on going with this surprising life. And that's what's beautiful about what we're here for. Thank you for listening to Human Thesaurus. Please help me rate and subscribe because your support means a great deal. Join me again next week for another episode. And while waiting, why not listen to my past few episodes? You may find one of them riveting. I'm your host, Wish Ronquillo Peacock. Have a fantastic day and thanks for listening.